Hi there. As requested, here's a quick video on setting up email alerts within Fairbot. Before I actually start that, however, a couple of caveats that I should point out to you. Please don't rely on this mechanism I'm about to show you if you want to be alerted of critical events in a timely fashion. Email communications was never meant to be an instantaneous communication. So once Fairbot sends that message, sends that alert to you, once it goes out into the ether, it's completely at the mercy of all the other email servers it has to transfer through in order to reach your device. So just keep that in mind. Secondly, you need to set up an email account that Fairbot can use. This will not work with a Gmail account. And the reason for that is the way that Gmail has implemented two-step authentication. There isn't a setting within Fairbot that allows you to specify the additional parameters that the Gmail account will need to authenticate Fairbot as being the user. So don't bother trying with Gmail. However, it does work with Outlook, Hotmail and the like, and I see no reason why it wouldn't work with the vast majority of email accounts that you are likely to be given when you sign up to a broadband provider. So any of those, generally speaking, will work. Gmail, however, is a right pain in the backside. Okay, let's have a quick look at the strategy. Now this strategy won't work because I've got in false information or dummy information. But I'm going to concentrate on using Outlook, an Outlook email account or a Hotmail account. It works with either or. But the settings here are applicable to any email account that you use. So the first thing you need to establish, and you may need to either look at your email client or go into the help pages on your email provider and find out the SMTP host, and that's the one for Outlook and Hotmail. Generally speaking, you'll need to use SSL or TLS, and that will automatically configure the port to be 587. Normally it's 25 for SMTP. So in these boxes, you can see here, this is just a dummy email address I've got in here. That would normally be the email address for that particular account you are trying to use to connect. If you're able to log on with a username as opposed to a dedicated email address, you'll be able to use that as well. It totally depends on your email provider. Obviously, you then have to have your login password as well. And these two boxes here, from name and from address, they are essentially the things that appear on the email that you will receive that will say from, as I've got here, Fairbot. And of course, that's its dummy address. It can be the same as that. Generally speaking, that's what you would use, or it could be something different. And then you've got the email message. So this is a template that you specify for each of these actions that you have, the send email action. So in here you'll put the email address that you want to send the email to. So generally speaking, that will be your normal email address, so it's coming to your phone all the time. And then we've got the subject and message. So you can specify any text in here, but you'll notice these things here in brackets. These variables pull information from the Fairbot event, or the Betfair event, I should say. These are the only variables that are available to you. Current date, time, market name, and so on and so forth. But you can see from this thing here, this will do give a subject of warning, and I'll give you the event name. Essentially, this stuff here is about to start, and then it's any message you like to type in, and you can incorporate any of those variables as well. So in this case, I'm going to use the market name again, i.e. the name of the event. I'm going to specify how much money is there and the number of runners. But this text here can be as long as you like, short as you like, but that's essentially it. Now, if you were to try and connect to a Gmail account here, it will appear to work initially, but about 10 seconds later, you'll get an error message appearing. If I just cancel out of that just now, you will get an error message appearing. You'll see that's just configured there just now. An error message will appear here. Now, depending on what how you're trying to connect. Right, so that one there is related to the fact that I'm using a completely made up account. So Outlook doesn't recognize that. In the case of Gmail, however, you've got something else that comes up with words similar to unsuccessful app password or authentication, one of the two, I can't remember. And you can't get any further than that. As I say, there's no settings within the rule editor that allow you to provide that additional information. Okay, so that's the important thing, the three things that you need: the SMTP host, the port, and generally speaking, you'll probably have to specify that as well. And switching that on automatically changes that to the corresponding port. But depending on your email provider, those figures may be different. So you might have to go in and search through your email provider's documentation. What you're looking for is the SMTP host server settings. Now keep in mind, this is just an account for sending emails. So what I would suggest you do is simply set up a free account on Hotmail or Outlook. You're never going to use that as a normal email account. You're only ever going to use it as part of Fairbot to send messages. So there's never really any need for you specifically to go into that email address and look through the inbox and so on and so forth. What you will find, of course, Fairbot sends these messages using whatever account you've specified. And so those messages will be in the sent folder within that account. So you could theoretically periodically go in and delete those if you so wish. But quite frankly, there's no need to. And that's how you set up email. I must admit, I don't use it. I'm always when I'm trading, I'm always in front of my computer, generally speaking. I don't need to be at the computer if I have an automation set up to run while I'm away. There's no point in it emailing to me because I wouldn't be able to get back in time in any case. So for me, it's of limited use. But by all means, you can investigate it. One of the things to note, of course, is that this action, send email, it's like any other action. You can specify conditions. So you could have a number of email messages set up in rules, and depending on whatever the conditions are, some or all of them will fire, or indeed none of them if the conditions aren't met. And those conditions can be all the same sort of conditions that you apply in any other action. So feel free to have a play with that. As I say, I think its use for me is limited, but by all means use it if you can find a use for it. Okay, I hope that clears things up. Cheers.